Information coming up right now from the Labour Party itself, where it's saying that some APC thugs have unleashed some violence against them. Allegedly, they were disrupting the Labour Party rally in Lagos. And of course, that statement is coming from the Labour Party spokesman, presidential campaign spokesman, Yunusa Tanko, who says that thugs believed to be from the All Progressives Congress have launched allegedly brutal attacks on Labour Party supporters in Lagos. And he said that their aim was to stop the obedience, the supporters of Obidati candidacy from attending the campaign rally holding at the Tafawa Balewa Square throughout today in Lagos. And of course, the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council chief spokesperson Yunusa Tanko, in a text message sent to Arise News, said many people had been injured with windscreen of several vehicles shattered by the hoodlums. He said, and I quote him, "It's highly regrettable that Lagos, which assumes the most sophisticated city in Africa, could witness this type of barbarism in 21st century." End of quote. Well, there's a video to that effect, and I'll just want to play that video just before we go into the conversation.
You can see it. They attacked us. They attacked us. They attacked us. You can see this guy now. They use matching and scatter their hands. Wait. You can see them. Show your face. Hey, don't hide your face. They scatter their hands. See our motto. See our motto. They attacked us at Abalanje. Now see our motto. They attacked us at Adeniji. Now they see our motto. See this one. See what I will clean them for. We need you. We need a help, please. We need a help, please. They attacked us as we are coming. You know, they see them. They attacked the obedient people. They injured us. They came in mass with cutlass and gun and heavy weapon.
All right, we just want to mention that that was just the video of a particular incident now sent in by the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council to its spokesperson, Tanko Yunusa, who is calling on the security agencies and the international community to hold, quote, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and the ruling APC government responsible for mayhem that has been unleashed on obedience today, end of quote. Well, I still have with me here Chief Edoze Ezugwa, who's a member of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, and of course Zari Yusuf, who is a member of the Obidati Independent Campaign Council. Let's start with you, Zari. What's been your reaction towards all of this news that's coming out from Lagos as to the final mega rally being held by your party and your presidential candidate?
Final mega rally, as you called it, I think the mission primarily is to make sure that at the very climax of our campaign, you know, that icing on the cake, somebody ruins it. So when Yunusa Tanko sensed that, I have worked with him. He is a very meticulous man. He's not moved by emotions. I'm not in Lagos. I've been following from the very early hours of people, you know, congregating at different locations. You know, at the Big Tent, provisions were made for different places people will meet before they get to the center of the rally. I think it's pathetic, and it equally emphasizes to every Nigerian what we are likely going to be facing if we miss this very opportunity. Now, it's typical of the ruling party. Very, very typical. It's not the first time it's happened. Yeah,
but when you say the ruling party, I mean, like I had read, these are just allegations. What evidence do you have that the APC actually sent these people? I mean, this could have been any other person on the streets of Lagos,
yes,
who maybe doesn't like Peter Obi or doesn't like Labour Party.
That's right.
Or, quote, the obedience.
It could have been any other person, but we follow trends. I remember, you know, in the early parts of the campaign, in Kaduna State particularly, you know, the propaganda that you cannot have more than 20 people on the street, and if you so have them, it could have been IPOB that came in over the night and all of those things. How I read that, how most obedience read that, how the Labour Party read that was, it was a propaganda in advance, such that when you have 2,000 people, 3,000 people on the streets, you may have just 5 people creating violence. And once you've linked it to a group that has been proscribed, you would have given a justification for violence against them. Now, it's typical of states ruled by the ruling party. You understand? So when you have videos, there was a particular one that was supposed to be leaked, but I do not believe it was leaked, where Tinubu was talking about how people get power. You know, you grab it, you snatch it, you go away with it.
Yeah, I mean, that was in London the other time when they went
but the truth,
Chatham House.
Yes, but the truth of the matter is, Lagos is I would say, the stronghold of the candidate of the ruling party, as far as I'm concerned, or he thinks it's the stronghold, and the people have been caged for too long. They want to set themselves free. And you think
that they want to vote Labour Party if they want to set themselves free?
Oh yes, oh yeah.
Because there have been these talks that Labour Party does not have the capacity to be able to upstage the APC in Lagos, because the APC has, had a foothold over that state for several years. Just very quickly, I want you to end on that before I come to Dozie.
Let me just be honest with you. What you see today in Lagos is a typical example of Labour Party's capacity to not just upstage. So, because it's not just about taking power, it's about burying the old order. Yes, basically that's it. No, basically that's
you actually use some very strong words.
Yeah, you could see it.
APC in Lagos. Well, it's left for viewers and of course Nigerians to decide. But if you accuse the APC of masterminding this, then what will you say about the APC also ensuring that you had the venue, the Tafawa Balewa, the square for you to be able to organize your rally and all of that? If they didn't want you to have that square, I mean, they could have used their strength to muzzle you out. We've seen some other state governors are doing that.
Well, don't forget the fact that there was a time when neighbors, they were doing a road walk, march, and the rest of them. And at a stage, they were opposed to it. And they have sometime one way or the other, we've gone to court and get these things sorted out. And all these things is all the hiccups, problem they want to, create, so that we'll now be able to have a full impact, because we know quite all right that they are, like he said, the old era is coming to the end. All those manipulations and the rest of them, all those thuggery, recruiting, exploiting the youths that are not doing anything, introduce them to criminalities and all those things. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, will normal human being use bottle or machete to choke the fellow human being just because you want to secure a favor? Why should you? Then you are asking, why are we sure that they are the people? You know these things, you don't need to, because we have been in the system. Quite all right. The cabal do not want Nigerian to be free and progress just like every other nation of the world. The status of Nigerian today on international engagement has been reduced to nothing. If we are traveling outside the country with people from even Ghana, Togo here, once you are in Nigeria, you'll be set aside.
Yeah, but that's why I said that you accuse the APC now, but this same APC allowed you to have access to the Tafawa Balewa Square.
No,
and I mean, that facility is owned by federal government, but of course, it's located in Lagos, and the state has some influence. So if the governor didn't want, like your spokesperson said, if the governor didn't want that rally to take place, he would have frustrated, maybe he would have gone to one primary school like it's been happening in other states.
Let me tell you, after our outing in the Nasarawa, when we went there, this started from the Nasarawa, the first outing we have. The governor in Nasarawa, totally frustrated us.
Governor Abdullahi Sulu.
Yes, the day we secured the permission to hold our rally on that stadium. That particular day, this man vehemently refused, even impose restrictions. No movement, they are doing sanitations, refuse us from using that because we were thinking that we are not going to have a this in there. But when eventually we find alternatives, you can see the number of people.
Yeah, but he was also using it against you, that you couldn't fill up even an ordinary
I would have allowed. Why is he afraid? Why is he afraid? That is exactly what Lagos, I can, subject it to. They were thinking that we are not going to feel the TBS. Oh. You can now see with your eyes what happened.
Okay.
And on the process, they resort to this type of thuggery and, using brutal force. Is it how it's going to be?
Well, it's an interesting perspective that you're bringing. So the initial thought was maybe, TBS will not be filled up.
Yes.
So when they saw the TBS being filled up,
they engaged on the use of thuggery.
Well, it's left for you to be able to prove the allegation. I come back to you. Talk to us about Peter Obi as we try to round up this conversation to get into the next issue. Why should Nigerians vote Peter Obi? And what has Peter Obi been telling Nigerians as he's been going around before this final mega rally, as you people call it, in Lagos?
Yes, Peter Obi is the rejected stone that has become the head of the chief cornerstone. That's right. You see, when you see an honest man, when you see a man whose private life, a man whose career in banking, a man whose career in governance speaks for itself, a man who connects with the masses. I was on an interview and I said to people, who would dare go into any market square, who would dare go into Mubi, who would dare go into southern Borno, the refugee camps, with all that they have suffered, and just face them like every ordinary Nigerian? You do not need a bulletproof car, you do not need the DSS, or the security pushing people away.
In one instance, he was even told not to take a helicopter to the southern part of Borno, but he did. He did. Defying the security advisory given to him.
So primarily, first we have a man who identifies with the masses. Secondly, what other options do we have? Basically, they are people that have been tried over time. They have been tested over time, and they have failed over time. Now, he has come with, this is what he speaks to the people. You see, this story of one person saying, I used my car to take your wife to the hospital when she was about to give birth, so now you have to vote me. Another one saying, I speak the same language with you, I am the only one you need. He doesn't go with that story. He has never asked the Christians to vote him because he is a Christian. He has never asked the Igbos to vote him because he's Igbo.
Yeah, but there are allegations that he's sort of going around to, especially the northern parts of the country, speaking with the northern minorities, and allegedly trying to stir up emotions between northern minority Christians and, the dominant majority Muslims within those particular states. Is that a strategy? Don't you think that strategy in itself may likely, face some hiccups?
Well, basically, first of all, nothing like that is existent. I think it's a lie concocted. Just a couple of days ago, it was built by the governor of Kaduna State, who accused him of being a bi-god and all of that. The problem is he has this profound effect on people. Should he stop for a midweek prayer, the media carries it and says, Peter Obi went to church to do this. But every Muslim goes to the mosque, Detti goes to the mosque. And with the caliber of Detti, with the kind of person he is, he will definitely not have associated with anybody that writes on religion and ethnicity. Detti has a university. Whatever he does in that university is typical of the kind of person he is. When you go there, so it's not about, you are my cousin, you are my in-law and all of that, no. And then, so the lie about trying to use, and then the story of majority and minority is non-existent. Typically,
you think so, especially in northern part of
the country? In the northern, it's a propaganda in the northern part of the country, a certain lie. And like I said, I know the chief propagandist is the governor of Kaduna State, who has gone around virtually every media station talking about Christian enclaves. So you appeal to ethnic sentiments, you appeal to religious sentiments, and then you accuse someone else of doing it. So a villain is working hard to play the victim.